What would you just say to that?
All right, here we go. Everything's recording. Alex, you recording?
There we go. We're good. Right there. Yeah, right there. That's it.
Microphone check. Oh, no!
Oh, shit!
No!
Straight to the social prophet.
Wow, I don't even know what
It's been too long, dude.
Whoa,
Whoa, spitting. Yeah, all kinds of disrespect to the church.
Yeah, but before I get, this is the Church of Why episode. No, church. Remember the Church of
Why? What the fuck but why? Episode.
Let's do it. Let's figure it out right
Episode
now.
what?
35.
34, 35.
35, season 4. We're
Yeah.
season 3.
Season 3.
Yeah, back.
Yeah, but we're here at
Somebody
the
get-
church, bitch.
Yeah, we had to come back for Big Ray, the guest. Everybody
Big
give a
Ray,
round of
yay!
applause. And I know you're hesitant to talk because everybody's so crazy when you give an opinion. But once
Okay.
again, for the viewers, all we do here is bounce around ideas.
That's it.
Here's my idea. Yo,
100%.
catch it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thanks for the idea. Here, Ray.
Yeah.
Throw it. Here, throw it. Oh, my
Yeah, that's
all right.
what
All we
we're
do is
doing. Yeah,
bounce
we're just
around
practicing.
And don't take
the
it
art of
personal.
And don't
conversation.
take it
Don't
personal.
take it personal. Is that in the why?
Yeah.
The
I have
oath?
it. Yeah, I do have
Don't
it.
take
Don't
it
take
personal.
it personal. 100%.
Like we're not
It's the
attacking anybody.
Right.
Well, we
Here's the
maybe
book.
we are, but
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
Well,
It
they
might
say-
feel, but like.
No, the
it's all
problem
good.
is when you debate, you don't want to attack. Once you start attacking them personally,
That's
this is when you lost the debate and it gets ugly.
Right.
Well,
the
you know,
person who attacks lost.
Yes.
Yeah.
you know,
don't wanna
because
make
I
it
thought
way.
that the discussion between Shapiro and Russell
Okay.
was
yeah.
perfect.
I'll put the clip up for everybody when the guy
I
from
didn't see
BBC debated Ben Shapiro.
Okay.
Here, this is what we're doing. All right, keep
you
going.
could tell he was biting his tongue, though.
My point that you write about, Judeo-Christian culture and so on, but so much of what you've said in the past would seem to turn its back on Judeo-Christian culture.
You're lecturing me on Judeo-Christian culture after you call the pro-life position barbaric?
I just
Really?
asked you a question.
And I asked you a question. You failed to answer a single one of mine. Frankly, I find this whole thing a waste of time. If you want to read the book and critique the book, why don't you read and critique the book? If you want to critique me, you can think whatever you want of me.
Why don't you just
frankly,
try and
I don't
answer
care.
the
I don't
questions?
frankly give a damn what you think of me since I've never heard of you.
And I've never heard of you until I briefed myself for this. But that's not the issue. You have a
Then
new
why the hell
book
are you
out,
interviewing
and
me,
it's
sir?
it's an interesting book. But my point is, your book claims that
Well, it'd be
society...
nice if you would quote it from time to time.
Your book is, well, actually, I've done so several times, and I'm about to do so again, if you would let me just finish the question. Your book
frankly, I don't
claims
think
that
this- you know what?
society
Honestly-
is turning
honestly,
its
sir.
back on Judeo-Christian values.
Yeah, this
What are
considering
those values?
considering
what are the values it's turning its back on?
I'm not inclined to continue
And then
an
he
interview
left.
with a person as badly motivated as you as an interviewer. So I think we're done here. I appreciate your time, sir.
All
Thank
right,
you so
well,
much.
thank you for your time and for showing that anger is not part of American political discourse now, Mr.
Hey.
Shapiro. We'll
Because
see
he
you
always
later.
says that.
Yeah.
And he's like a
Oh, he
Republican.
always says exactly what he just
Yeah,
said.
take anger
is not
out of-
the American discourse.
And then he just got angry and left.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, the guy-
oh, what a
he's
little bitch, Ben
Republican.
Shapiro.
kept calling him a liberal. He's a Republican.
Really?
Yeah.
He's a Republican conservative.
Really?
Yeah.
Right-wing,
Right-wing hardcore.
hardcore conservative. And Ben Shapiro was, he's calling him, like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
I think Ben Shapiro must have learned something. He did apologize.
Oh, really?
Did he?
I read that he apologized, that he didn't check out who he's actually talking to a pro.
Yeah.
And Ben Shapiro is acting like some young punk that knows everything.
Right. You're right. And this
And
other
here
guy
he's
knew
here
now.
he's talking to a pro
Yeah.
that actually they're both in line. I mean,
Their values are
the values
parallel,
are,
right?
but he was just questioning,
It's a sport.
his
Debating's
book.
a sport.
Yeah.
Debating's a sport,
Yeah, it is.
you know?
And Ben Shapiro got a little bit all up in his
He
feelings.
got outclassed.
Yeah,
Got
definitely.
outclassed.
Right.
Watch, I'll send it to you. It's good, dude.
The whole
Like,
thing?
Dude just kills him on his own words. But when you're somebody
Really?
like Ben, it's tough when you do that for a living because you're giving a lot of half ideas a lot of times. You're talking every day for 2-3 hours.
That's true.
And then people will challenge you on your idea. And maybe instead of taking it personal, you should say, you know what? You're right. Like I did kind of say that just half thinking about it. And I looked into it and like I take that back. You're right.
I changed my mind.
Yeah, that's okay. But then people jump on that and say you're a flip-flopper.
Yeah.
We always talk about that.
Yeah, the flip-flopping.
Flip-flopping's good. That means you're changing.
Right, it is a good thing. Flip-flopping's okay. We've talked about that.
It depends how you do it, though.
It depends whether it's hypocritical.
Yes. There's a
Now,
way
you're not really changing your mind. You're just trying to please your audience. So you're flip-flopping for your audience, and that's different.
Yeah.
So now you're just being a hypocrite.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's either because the real reason. I mean, you still don't even believe that.
Right.
You know, I mean, as opposed to sincerely realizing, wait a minute, you know, like I've changed my mind on that topic. You know. It's like I used to be, you know, very Republican, conservative, and all that stuff.
Yeah, I know you were voted for Bush.
I voted for Bush
Really?
twice.
And now you're almost.
I even voted for McCain.
You're almost.
I didn't even vote for
justice
Obama.
warrior now. You almost went to.
You're on the way to social justice.
Yeah, you're
no,
close.
he's not that
close.
bad. No way, really.
Yeah.
You just hate Trump, and I
Well, things were different too. I mean, I think you know the moderate Republicans really had more control in terms of social issues. Okay. Now, there's really two things that's always going on. Is you've got the social issues, you know, as opposed to the economic issues. Like all the presidents, you know, going all the way back to Carter and Nixon and Ford and all of them were all actually in line, you know, with economic principles of free trade. Mm-hmm. You know, in other words, you know, NAFTA and, you know, going to
all
China.
The way back,
all the presidents,
cool,
they were all called neoliberals. And a lot of people don't know what the term neoliberal means. Now, I can't think of their name, here I go.
Neoliberals are just like, they're the ones that are focused on money, right? And
well, liberalism is about free market. Look up liberalism, and it's about free markets.
Right, and then neo takes it to the extreme, right? Where
well,
like,
neoliberal...
They're like the corporatist fucking... That's like Clinton and Obama's a neoliberal.
Well, yeah, I mean, they were all like for free trade.
Right.
You want the definition? You want the definition?
Yeah.
Willingness to respect or accept behavior or opinions different from one's own, openness to new ideas, or a political and social philosophy that provides individual rights, civil liberties, democracy, and free enterprise.
Free enterprise. What's neoliberalism?
Alright, neo.
That has to do with
they use the term neo because they were trying to get away.
Neo is used to refer to market-oriented reform policies such as eliminating price controls, deregulating capital markets, lower trade barriers, and reducing, especially through privatization
and austerity, state influence in the economy.
Yeah.
Okay. But then that's like, I mean, it makes it sound good, but like the neoliberals, they opened up the world trade, but at the behest of like the jobs in America.
Right.
You know, like they moved all the fucking work elsewhere to make a shit ton of money.
Well, neo means new.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so it's the new liberals. Like Bill Clinton was a neoliberal. And
going outside of it.
Me too. Like this, you have to stay like in this bubble.
Okay.
Sorry, keep going. Yeah.
The term classical liberal is also used as similar to neoliberal. In other words, to get back to the roots, it was really what happened was if you look at the word liberal, it actually has different meanings.
We went over this. I even clipped it up.
You know, like I feel like that Republicans are liberals about guns.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, right. They're very liberal about guns.
Liberal about guns.
Liberal about a lot of
and
things.
Democrats are more conservative about guns.
Is that a word game?
I don't know.
Well, what happened? You know, so
we did.
Yeah, but keep going. You can say.
No, just the fact. No. Well, so what they wanted to do with the term classical and neoliberal, they wanted people to get away from the term liberal, that means excessive, right? If I can put cream on conservatively, or liberal means I'm going to put all this cream, and so liberal term never really reflected its real meaning because the word liberal actually came from liberty.
Okay.
You know, and they took off on the word liberal and being excessive.
Right.
You know, I mean, you know what I mean, like promiscuous, and that's like you're liberal, you're promiscuous, you're
too free.
You're
not,
too
yeah,
free.
Right.
Yeah,
you're loose with your morals. And
yeah,
shit.
right. Yeah, that kind of thing. So they were trying to get away from that kind of thinking. So they got into this new, like Bill Clinton considered himself the.
Sorry.
Like Bill Clinton considered himself the new Democrat too.
No, really?
Yeah, because actually
wasn't that because he was like trying to relate more to the people with his saxophone and he was trying to be like more like loose.
Well, that was more like that was
shit.
that,
relate to like the younger generation. Make him think that he was helping the younger generation.
Right, but there's two issues, like Bill Clinton, he was more liberal in the sense that, like he saw nothing wrong with people being gay, even though he, I guess, played with that idea. Like there's the social issues versus economic issues.
Yeah.
I personally like to focus on economic issues and not so much social issues. Like,
but our generation is obsessed with social issues.
Like transgender.
Don't even pay attention to economical.
No.
Nope.
Like transgender and whether gay people can get married. These are all social issues that everybody's fighting over.
Annoying, yeah.
And so people look at this, look at things in a very linear, one-dimensional way.
Right.
Kids are ashamed to come from money now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you get shamed if you come from privilege.
Right. Fucking elitist.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's like the grit and bear like coming from nothing.
Yeah, they're just.
So a lot of the issues that we're disagreeing with is, is social issues. I mean, not to bring, Trump's name up or anything, because that's
there it is. Ding.
Ding,
Let's
ding,
throw it
ding,
up.
ding.
Well, that's always a
Trump.
poisonous thing,
I know, but you have to
Yeah.
talk about it. It's
Trump went against the
But, like, don't you-
neoliberal.
Trump went against the neoliberal.
Trump went against the neoliberal.
Don't you think that like a lot of the, like we were saying, like society focuses more on the social issues rather than the economic, and the social issues are the ones that are highlighted by the fucking media to keep us against each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can see like the poison inside the media.
Can I ask you a question, Dad? All right, I want to know right now, like if Trump was president right now, what would be different? Do you think by now it would be total chaos if he would have stayed in, or what do you think? Like Afghanistan. How do you think that? Do you think the Afghanistan thing would have played out the same way?
I do believe that because he started it. I mean,
I'm just continuing our conversation last time that the media just swept the Biden thing under the rug, that they were trying to impeach him.
Yeah.
But then they just swept it under the rug.
Like you don't even hear about it no more.
I'm not even saying I'm mad about it. They're all the same to me. But it's funny how they treat things differently.
It is, yeah. It's
but now
fucking
everybody
weird.
knows. We all know now. There used to be debate about it. It's a fact.
Yeah.
It's a biased media.
100%, dude. All you got to do is look at the Biden computer. Like the Biden computer was fucking crazy.
Yeah, man.
They said it was the leader of the CIA. The leader of the CIA. What is he called? The fucking head of the CIA, right? But he said that it was Russian misinformation. That's what he said, the CIA guy.
Right. Two topics really quick. First, the president has said, and you have tweeted, that allegations of wrongdoing based on files pulled from Hunter Biden's laptop are Russian disinformation. There is a new book by a Politico reporter that finds some of the files on there are genuine. Is the White House still going with Russian disinformation?
I think it's broadly known and widely known, Peter, that there was a broad range of Russian disinformation back in 2020.
Okay. Moving on to the border.
Before, and they knew that if that came out about the Hunter Biden computers, that if that came out, it would have been bad for Biden. So they fucking tried to hide it. And then after the election, they came out and said, "Oh yeah, we've been looking at Hunter Biden since 2018. Like we know he's a corrupt son of a bitch, little fucker."
And it comes
out later. Like that's the media. Like that's propaganda at its finest, dude. And it's so blatant, like right in front of us. People just ignore it.
Yeah, they go after your kids.
Yeah. Right.
Right. I mean, Hunter Biden's he's not running for president.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
sorry,
but like,
lost. What'd you just say?
Hunter Biden's not running for
right,
president.
Yeah, they go after the kids, right?
They go after the
Yeah.
kids.
Even if Hunter Biden's son is a crackhead, so
Yeah, that's so what, but I'm saying
you
that
think Trump's kids are perfect?
not at
Donald's a
all.
little-
But like news is news. Like that came up about Hunter Biden and his computer and everything, and the media said that no, this is wrong. The CIA said this is bullshit. It's Russia and misinformation. And then the same people came out later like, "Oh yeah, we've been investigating him since 2018." Like just that propaganda is like right there. It's so blatant. You know, like they do lie to fucking get what they want. And most people don't, I don't know, a lot of people don't see it.
Well, I mean, a lot of politicians, and I even though people don't like to see Trump as a politician, I think he is. I mean, in the same sense that like a salesman, right? Politicians are like salesmen, and like Bill Clinton, when they were, like Bill Clinton downplayed NAFTA, whereas H.W. Bush, he created NAFTA. Mm-hmm. And it was actually started in the Reagan administration. Okay, but Clinton downplayed NAFTA, because a lot of people didn't like NAFTA, but he finally, after he became president, he says, well, but I'm going to build a better NAFTA.
Yeah,
How about that?
Yeah, right.
A better
NAFTA.
NAFTA.
Fucking destroyed Detroit.
In other words, I'm going to get out of Afghanistan, but I'm going to do it better, even though, I mean, you think about the complexity of trying to get all those people out of there.
Yeah.
Is really enormous. I mean, and particularly in the end when all of a sudden the Taliban took over.
Yeah.
They took over, and that was sort of odd that they weren't aware of that.
But yeah.
But at that point, what choice would Biden have?
It was a disaster, though. Like on every
what choice would Biden have at that point? Should he start the war all over and start shooting and killing
they could have just
Taliban?
got out better, though. There's that option too.
Do what?
You're being too dramatic. They could have just got out better, though. Like even like why do they have to like get out that very second? Like let's say they say we're gonna get out. Okay, well fucking plans changed, yo. Like we need another week or something to get our people out.
Year.
And I'm gonna bomb the shit out of terrorists that are harboring them right now and kill everybody that's killing any American.
I mean, it's true.
They didn't give a fuck.
Come
dude.
on, they're killing Americans. Fuck them, dude. I don't
Yeah,
care.
yeah.
I mean,
continue the war a little bit longer to get our people out, and then be like, we're done. One last fight.
Well, but if he continued the war a little bit, you don't think people would end up getting killed?
Maybe not. Not that
Maybe
many.
so.
Americans versus terrorists. Normally, it's highly likely that minimal Americans would be the casualty in that situation. We probably would have drone strike.
We don't know. I mean, if you started agitating the
just
Taliban,
like Biden drone striked innocent kids in a village a couple weeks or a couple months before that. So what does it matter anyways?
I mean,
he killed those kids.
Well, it just goes to show you though that getting out of Afghanistan isn't that easy.
And I'm not
no, but like the reason we were in there in the first place, like.
Yeah, why were we there?
And like when you think about like they probably no, it's not, but it's on the corporatist fucking.
But he was around back then though.
He was, dude. Yeah, he was sniffing around.
He's a player.
He was a senator. He was a fucking senator of Delaware, where like there's like money connections to Delaware. Don't they have like some type of weird banking in Delaware?
Probably.
But he helped create it so fucking rich people could hide their money. But like what we don't hear about the Afghanistan war is what I always wonder. Like maybe they fucking because they were in there mining. There were fucking private companies in there mining the shit out of Afghanistan. There was fucking what the fuck is that? There was the like what do they call the private military companies? Like they were making fucking trillions of dollars over there. Like they were there for money, dropping bombs. Like they make money off of bombs.
Oh yeah, the military industrial
complex is fucking disgusting, and everyone ignores that. I mean, Obama, everyone likes, people that like Obama, it's crazy, but he dropped more bombs than any other fucking president. They ran out of bombs.
But they all drop bombs.
They do, but they're dropping bombs to get their friends rich.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude.
I guess the problem with the Biden thing is like they're not saying they love Biden. So whenever you press like a Democrat or whatever on Biden, they're like, I don't love Biden. They just, like we said, they didn't want Trump.
They hated Trump. So that was the whole fucking. It's crazy. Like that alone should fucking like make all of America ill, bro.
Yeah, but the same thing happened with
Everyone that voted
Hillary.
for Biden was voting against Trump. Like. When have we ever had a president where it's like, yeah, like he's a good dude?
Obama felt like that at the time.
Yeah,
and then Flint, Michigan, and all the bombs. Like, what the?
But you don't think the same thing happened with
Yeah.
when Trump
Yeah,
ran?
they did.
They swept that under
Oh
the rug.
yeah, they hit it.
But you don't think the same thing happened when Trump ran against Hillary? People voted for Trump to be against
Yeah,
Hillary.
Yep.
Hillary,
Yep.
yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yep. It
Yeah.
is. It's disgusting. We just need. I hate politics. What were we talking about? Religion earlier.
Yeah, let's get off. We can get off politics.
What did you
all right.
say about?
You want to talk about your retreats?
He was talking. Nah.
Okay,
not
different
yet.
time, not
Yeah,
feeling
yeah. I
it.
liked what
Okay.
he was talking
Go-
about.
go with
there
it.
was like
Bring
the
it on.
Jesus. What were you saying on our way up the stairs?
Segue.
Remember?
Hold on. Can we? I gotta do my segue in the
Your
church.
segue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying that like there's different ways to look at the Jesus story.
Right.
It's not like there's one way. Google says there's like 54, Christian denominations alone.
That's crazy. I wonder what differentiates them.
Well, there are major, like things that are going on, like the Calvinists. I'm surprised that a lot of people don't even know who John Calvin was.
I've heard of it.
They know who Martin Luther is.
I think it's recording.
The red button. Yeah. Okay.
Well, John Calvin believed that that Jesus didn't die for everybody, that he only died for his chosen. And of course, the Calvinists believe they're the chosen.
Okay.
And that's
That's that 144,000, right? Isn't that like the number
Well, I don't know
of the
about-
chosen or something?
I
I've
don't
heard
know.
like that number be thrown around. 140.
Well, I don't know about that
Yeah, I don't know.
particularly. I mean, but whether, but in other words, they're more into like, no, Jesus didn't die for everyone. He just died for his chosen, for those that, and of course, if
That's
you
bullshit. That's such bullshit.
Jehovah's Witnesses are like that too. They believe in like
Jesus
the
died
chosen.
for them and only
yeah,
them?
that they're the chosen.
That's crazy, dude.
The Jews think they're the chosen too, right?
Yeah, everyone thinks they're the chosen.
Yeah.
So,
but I think that just those to contrast that with Lutheranism, with Martin Luther. Martin Luther believed that Jesus died for everyone. And
I think that's more of the story of what the Bible says, right? How the fuck could you come up with that idea anyhow? Like, is there something in the Bible that says like Jesus died for the chosen, and you get to pick if who's
Yeah,
the
where'd that
chosen?
come from?
Yeah.
where'd that-
well,
They just made that up, these
well,
people?
you've got to be aware of how the New Testament is structured. Okay, the New Testament is structured where you have these four Gospels. Okay, most of the New Testament is really Paul's testament.
Right.
And Paul was a self-proclaimed apostle. He
Yeah.
never met Jesus.
It was like a couple 100 years after. Or some
No,
shit,
not
right?
really.
How
He was
far?
around at the time.
Oh, he was.
He could have.
Oh, you always told me I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
You always said that
Well,
Paul
I
was-
may have thought that in the beginning.
Okay, there's a nice flip flop.
Yeah, there we go,
There's
okay.
a beautiful flip flop.
I may have.
Can I eat
thought-
your sandwich?
Yeah.
You want any?
Yeah, you can have it. All right.
I mean, I may have thought that, but then upon further research, I realized that Paul was around at the time.
Oh,
He was even, but he was busy.
I've
Supposed.
totally used that argument against people too.
I know, me too. And
Yeah, I've been like, Paul's a fucking hack.
Yeah, he wasn't even
Yeah, he
around.
wasn't even around.
Oh crap!
Shit, we were wrong.
Well, no,
I
the
got
point
so
was
many
that-
people that-
So many people.
Well, the
Bad.
That's okay.
well, but the point. Okay, but the point.
Fake news.
The real point here is that Paul never met Jesus physically. When Jesus was doing all his preaching and whatever he was doing, Paul was busy killing Christians. Now, I don't understand.
Wait, what? Paul was busy.
That's what they
killing-
say, that he was killing Christians.
Holy fuck!
Now, what was curious though is why wouldn't well, there are a lot of things that are difficult to prove, and particularly the story with Paul. I mean, there are some people that don't even believe that Paul was like a fabricated person,
Really?
and that he wasn't a single person, that he was a combination of different people, because they say some of the letters written by him are inconsistent and aren't saying the same thing. They sound different from the others.
It's like a different dialect or style of writing.
Yeah, so they're not really sure, so it's really unclear, really, the story of Paul is actually really unclear, but it does make you, make you think that maybe, he was around at the time that Jesus, but the thing is interesting, though, is why he wouldn't make it, why he wouldn't make a point to actually see Jesus.
What do you mean?
In other words, he made no effort
To go find him.
to go find him and to listen
He's
to
just
him.
he's just listening to stories that he heard from other people, or was
Yes.
did he say like he had a direct connection with
Yeah, he
like,
had a
the source
vision.
Oh, he would have vision.
It was on the road to Damascus.
Okay.
People always think that he fell off a horse, but he actually just had some kind of vision where he saw Jesus.
Yeah.
And and so Jesus, talked to him and told him, what his real mission was.
Right.
And so,
I feel like anyone could do that.
well, but they all do that. I mean,
That's what
Muhammad
everyone
had a
does.
vision too.
Right.
They all have visions.
Yeah.
Right. And so, in a
What
way,
makes them different from like all of us? Like, why couldn't we be able to have visions that like would help humanity?
well, some people claim to have visions.
I think we're all capable of it.
Well, if you're charismatic enough, people will listen to you and follow you if you're charismatic.
Right.
So
but that's always used.
So
for,
Jesus, in the beginning, there was never any such person as named Jesus, because there wasn't even a J in
the
Aramaic or whatever. There's no
Right.
J.
Right.
It's just somehow that's what it became. But there was like a person, who was apparently very charismatic and influential. That apparently something. He must have been an impressive,
caught the attention of fucking people.
Yeah, I mean, for him
Yeah.
to create a movement,
Right. Yeah.
and
are you like super familiar with this whole story
what?
of Jesus?
What do you mean?
Like the part of like, I mean, I know that there was like a section of it that, because I'm totally not scholarly when it comes to almost anything. You know what I mean? I just don't fuck with books.
Yeah.
But the part of this story where he goes to Egypt. Like when Jesus goes to Egypt and receives gifts, like do they ever talk about what gifts he received?
Well, see, there again, I'm not, I don't really recall. I'm not really an expert, like a scholar on the details of the New Testament.
Okay.
I just more or less have an overview.
So that's New Testament. Then they talk about Jesus going to Egypt to get the gifts.
Well,
do you know that
the
part of
New
the story?
Testament is Jesus.
Oh, okay. Really?
The Old Testament is, Moses and all those people.
Oh, the old
and
head.
Abraham. Right, Abraham.
Okay, yeah, that's
Abraham's
right. I knew that. Like with Judaism doesn't believe in Jesus because they don't fuck with the New Testament at all.
Well, Judaism also they don't.
But it's all the Abrahamic religions, right? It all stems from Abraham. Jesus was just like the one little thing.
Right, and like Jews also don't, they obviously don't accept Paul's vision.
Yeah.
And neither do Muslims. Now, Muslims, people don't realize that Muslims follow biblical events. They believe in Genesis and Moses and
Right.
Abraham and all those. They celebrate Abraham all the time.
Right.
But what's different, though, is that they accept Jesus.
Okay, yeah.
Now,
that's what's different.
like my idea, of what a Messiah, the Jewish idea of a Messiah wasn't somebody who was necessarily divine, but who was like a king or a prophet.
Okay.
Huh?
Motherfuckers right here.
Prophet?
So Muslims, took off on the Jesus story, but they don't accept Paul at all.
They don't fuck with Paul at all.
They don't accept
See,
Paul.
I'm still in like fuck Paul mode because of what you told me about him.
Well,
When he
it
was
might
around, I was like, what
it
kind
might
of
have been a
motherfucker?
misunderstanding
Okay.
on your part.
Okay. No, I think he's told
Two
us.
against
Yeah.
one. Now.
Maybe in the very, very beginning, I thought that, but
'Cause,
as time went
'cause
on,
when we
I
started
realized that no, he
talking-
was around.
Yeah, when we started talking, you were just getting into it.
Right,
Like you were really just starting to get like
right.
studying.
And so then as I started investigating more,
Right.
it does appear that he was around during the time of Jesus. I
Right.
guess why he didn't go, and they say that he was persecuting Christians, okay, in the Bible. But if he was persecuting Christians, though, you'd think that he would have gone to see who this person was.
Yeah.
If he was around at the time.
Right.
I mean, it may have been like, I don't know. It's unclear, really.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like that. That he was more than likely around at that time.
Well,
Okay.
as we stand.
But he never met him. He never met him physically. That's the whole point. Is that Paul never met Jesus physically.
Well, as you stand right now, we change a lot. Like sometimes I believe there's a God. Sometimes I believe there's a no God. Where do you stand right now? What's your belief? Like,
Well, I do actually believe I'm more like the deists, our founders, like Thomas Jefferson and all the. They were all deists. They believed in God as a creator, but they believed that we should use reason
right,
to guide us.
right.
And so they
That's
didn't.
what I do. I use reason.
But they
That's what I
did
do.
not believe that in the Trinity, and they
he's
did
a
not
genie.
believe that Jesus was divine or
Like
anything.
he's a genie. Like, what about the whole? Where'd the genie come from? Where you can like almost you pray and he comes and grants you your wishes. Where was that interpretation? Where'd that come from? How'd that start?
Well, the
'Cause
idea.
that's what I don't like. For people always like ask me what I believe in. I maybe believe that there's a creator. I think brains can comprehend how. I think it's like you couldn't explain somebody the internet before the internet. So I don't think our brains can comprehend how this started because we don't know that technology.
But there
We don't know.
has to be a creator. How could there not be? You think this all just happened just
But what's
willy-nilly?
a creator? But I don't accept creator as a word. To me, creator is like a cop-out. So what is it? Tell me, what does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? What created the creator? I can play that game with you too. So what created the creator?
Well, the
with
problem
creator?
with playing that game is you're playing the word game.
But it's not.
Well,
Because, the word game, the creator to me is the word game. I believe in a creator. No, well, let's play with that. What's a creator?
One of the best.
Just to answer the question, what's a creator?
I don't know.
So
The creator is someone that created all this. Like you didn't create it.
Yeah.
Like it's almost
Who
like.
created the creator?
But this is where like the Buddhists.
Pause.
Battery. Yeah.
What happened?
Hold on.
Labels.
They're just labels.
Yeah, the labels the fucking point at shit.
The tree is the tree.
Yeah, the thing is not the thing. The word is not the thing. The thing is the thing. I love that.
I could spend all day writing a book about that tree.
Yeah.
Until you actually go and visit the tree.
And you ain't gonna know exactly what the fuck you were talking about.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, right. Just a bunch of words, a bunch of labels on that.
Well, that gets into my idea that it's all about experience.
But anyways, let me get back
Yeah.
to our argument. I guess what I'm saying is like by me saying I don't know and I don't know if I believe in God and you saying there has to be a creator to me is like the same thing. Like you're basically saying you don't know either.
Well, but
Your faith is almost a baseless faith off just like it just has to be. But I'm just saying.
Well, how could it happen? But how could it all?
Maybe it's beyond your knowledge.
Well, yes, obviously.
So
Now,
maybe-
one of the things about Buddhism that's nice.
Maybe there's
is
another
that
dimension that we don't know about that happens. I don't know. Like I don't know.
something,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
something,
Oh, dude, no idea.
something.
It's okay not to know.
Yeah, right. It's
Something-
okay not to know. Like, I
Yeah.
walks around
Come
like
on,
they know
like-
everything.
Yeah.
you
I mean,
know?
come on. Something had to create this.
I know, but
Yeah.
It's not-
Something.
that's
It
not-
did.
that's evidence to
It
not
didn't just
debate
come
it.
out of
Like,
nothing.
and can't you get into the argument of like, well, we are the creators. Like, we're the ones creating it because we
Yeah.
are the vessel
Like,
that is taking all this in.
Well, if you want to go that direct, then you're the creator.
And then
But
you get
there
into
is a
Eli's
creator.
virtual reality. What's that?
Yeah,
Like, we're
that's
God.
crazy.
Like we
Yeah.
were a creator.
We created
Can
that.
we talk about Eli? Or
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
a problem with a lot of parents too. This
Right.
virtual reality.
Yeah,
stuff.
Eli's got that Oculus thing, and it's crazy. And he gets. Do you know what an Oculus is? It's like a virtual reality goggles, and he's got two little controllers, and it's like you are in like a world.
Yeah.
And there's other little friends that's hooked up to the Wi-Fi, like they're real people, and the game that he's into is like this ape game where you like run around in the jungle and you can like climb, and he just stands there and like does all this, and they can like fight. Oh, dude,
Well, did anybody ever
he
watch?
was yelling at one kid on there. Caitlin said that he was telling the kid to fuck off.
Oh,
He's like,
shit.
no, fuck off, because
Yeah.
he was making fun of Eli because he chose like a purple monkey suit, and the guy was saying like, "Oh, that's for gays. That's for gays." He's like, "Man, shut up! You're being mean. Fuck off." Caitlin said that she heard him.
Now, did you ever watch that? Jason, Julie and I watched it, and Jason refused to watch it. But did you ever watch that Netflix movie about being in a virtual world? They were all in a virtual world,
it
like what you're
called?
describing.
Westworld. Westworld.
Virtual.
Yeah, the name of the show was Westworld.
No.
No.
What's it called?
No, I'm getting. No, I'm going off on your idea
Okay.
of being in a virtual
What's the
world.
show? What's
Okay.
the
In
show?
other words,
what's it called?
What's the show?
I
Yeah.
can't remember.
All right.
Okay.
I can look it up.
So
like,
they're
is there
all in
anything-
a virtual world. Okay.
In other words, they're
But
all
like that,
in.
like we're the creators of that. Like for the.
So they're all in this virtual world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's created by this whatever, like what you're describing, and they're all participating in this world.
Right.
And it was on Netflix.
Okay.
And I thought it was fascinating.
That does sound.
I'm
fascinating.
surprised you didn't watch it.
No, I've been off at any shows. Like I haven't really watched shit.
You been watching?
But this
lot
is
of
a long
TV
time ago.
shows?
Julie and I watched this when she was still working at that oil company.
Did you get your?
We're talking about a
religion
long
talk out?
time ago.
A little bit.
If you have more questions, you can get back.
Well, you
to
remember
religion.
us talking about it with you, right?
What?
The
That,
virtual.
the movie on Netflix
Yeah.
about being in a virtual
Yeah.
world.
Oh, all right, yeah. I just want to stay on.
But
guess
I mean, yeah,
religion.
we
could've
can. But
kept
they
it
are
off,
the
but we can get back
creators.
on,
Like
yeah, the creator talk.
the
yeah.
creators, and I've been coming to realize like we have the ability to create and destroy. So we are very godlike on our level.
Well, we're
You
their
know, from
image.
our
We're the
perception
image of the
of-
creator.
Right. So we have the ability to create art. We have the ability to create, obviously, a ton of shit. But we also have the ability to destroy, just like gods. And I think that a lot of religions are actually like diverting us from what we should be worshiping. We should be worshiping ourselves and each other. Like 100%. Like we are the one. Yeah, the self-love, dude. It's all about the
Loving
self-love. We
thyself.
have to love ourselves.
Well, that gets.
And
Jesus
I
all the
believe,
time.
like-
people focus too much on loving Jesus, not themselves.
Right,
It's hard to
Give all their
stay.
love
It's
to
hard to
Jesus.
stay
Yeah.
focused. Huh?
We're on topic.
Are we on topic?
Yeah, I think
it's
so.
lit nicely.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
I have
that
some-
was a nice
segue.
smooth,
I guess
yeah.
I have this idea
slid in the
that
third
I guess
base.
I'm trying to get through.
Oh, then say it.
Okay,
then.
go ahead. Yeah.
You know,
Like,
but I think I might have
No,
lost
say
that
it.
idea
Go
Oh,
in
really?
the
to
process.
Go back to what you were trying to say.
I might have
I
lost.
thought we were
I
on
might have
track.
lost
I
it
know,
already.
What
we
the
were
viewers
rolling.
think.
Yeah,
They'll know
they'll
we were
know.
on
They'll let
track.
us know.
Yeah. Who threw it off?
Right,
Probably
right.
us.
We were talking probably.
Yeah. But what were we finished?
I mean, there's
You were
room
saying.
for what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
that we are creators.
And
Okay.
there's room for like there's all this love stuff and all that kind of stuff. But I was trying to, finish, the thought before that.
Finish it.
Okay, go
Because
ahead.
then I can go off on that whole thought
Just do
too.
it. I'm
Which
saying
one?
Just finish it.
Let's focus on which thought you're going to go off on.
The idea that that we obviously there has to be a creator.
Okay.
There just has to be. I mean, how could we didn't create? Well, but then you made the argument that maybe we did create ourselves.
Yeah.
Right, and we created,
But that would be okay.
But we did create the idea of a creator.
That was
Like
a
we
great
created
segue.
the idea of God, so we created that.
Now, one thing I will say though about this idea is I don't believe that we have the power to create anything. All we have the power is to rearrange molecules. We cannot create anything out of thin air. We can only emulate, creating things. But all we're doing is just taking for what's already there. Like, my whole spiel about the Pythagorean Theorem, everybody remembers that,
That's a
right?
fucking heavy thought, dude.
Is that the Pythagorean Theorem is built into nature.
Yeah,
Well, that gets into my thing that there is a kind of order in nature.
yeah,
And so
100%.
So what we do is we just find things, I mean,
So we're discoverers.
well, like the
But like when you make hold on. So the creating, we're just rearranging, but we're also. I mean, I think that.
but we're
is-
not creating.
No, yeah, I know. That's what it's. See, now it's like wordplay, like we were just talking.
Yeah, we're
about
not
fucking words,
creating.
man, fucking
We're
words.
just rearranging.
Yeah.
We're just discovering. We're just discovering things that are built into this world, like the Pythagorean Theorem. Which which is just this idea of the power of a right angle.
right.
Right, that a right angle has certain attributes that they discovered, and and this idea that if you think of like a plumb bob, okay, a plumb bob, establishes your vertical orientation with the world.
Right.
This way you can build houses, you can that are level, and then you have the horizon, which is the horizontal, and so when you have the horizon, that intersects the vertical, you have your right angle.
Right.
Okay. And so they discovered that for some reason that if I have a right triangle, that the sum of if I have like just a right, a right triangle, that the sum of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the sides of the triangle, that c squared equals a squared plus b squared.
Okay.
And without that particular formula, we'd still be in caves. I mean, we wouldn't be going to the moon. We wouldn't be doing anything. Like the Pythagorean Theorem was like something, but
there's no, is there any like hard right angles in nature? You're saying the horizon, and then if you have a plumb bob.
Right. There's your vertical right there.
Yeah.
Now the horizon, granted, isn't really, is circular because it's going, with the circle of the Earth, but it creates like a cross.
Yeah. Well, I think there's an argument there from the flat earthers.
Can I ask you a question? You might like this question. When you were my age, were you manically making those things?
Your age.
Were you manically making all your
I
stuff?
actually made that. Yeah, you know what? I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Is that what you were doing with all this stuff?
Like 30,
manically?
Well, I was trying to figure things out. Like one of the things that...
At 35? Like you were like 35
Before
when you were
me,
doing
yeah,
all
right
this?
before the kid, right when you had like me, like Riley's age and Rowan's age.
No, actually, no. I created those things when I got out of college.
Okay.
You didn't create
I graduated in college.
Can we talk about your life for a little bit? So once you got to college, all right, so you started making this stuff. You dove into the art world. I just want to talk about art a little bit, then we'll be done.
Well, I've always been...
No, we'll be done.
Okay, I've always been in art.
Okay.
I went to art school.
Because I think you need a hobby and you should start painting again. Before we get
that
into this
would be
conversation.
cool.
Well, but I
keep going. Let's talk about keep going. Sorry.
All right, so
I would love if you painted me a picture.
well, you know what?
See behind him, that's his painting.
But you know,
yeah, of the thing.
Yeah.
That's
but you
really
know what got
good.
me into math?
Yep.
But
The mannequin?
Talk about painting though, not math.
No, I know,
Yeah, it's hard
but
to
I'm just saying. But it's all the same.
All
math and art are the
Don't
same.
stay too long on math. Talk
Okay.
about when you got into like creating. We're trying to bring it into like.
But
keep it
math and
creative.
art are the same. Okay, it's just it's just a different process. Because art, math is about finding relationships, and so is art. Art is about finding relationships. Okay, and math, it's just a different way of looking at things. Like art looks at form, but math looks at ideas, is more focused on ideas, and art is focused on form. And so what happened was when I was going to college, I really wanted to really succeed at math because I was always poor at math. And so I started this process. I even started, even in the very beginning. Well, I started going back to, to learn, basic math, and then I took Algebra 1, and I took Algebra 2, and then I took, geometry and pre-calculus, and I finally got into trigonometry, and I got into calculus, and I got into calculus 2, but then all of a sudden I realized that I didn't understand it. I was able to follow the dots, but I was never able to connect the dots.
Right.
And so it just became this obsession with me that why, I got through, math with A's and some B's, but I knew that when I got to Calc 2 that I was done. There was no way that I was going to move on to Calc 3 in three-dimensional math. I knew that I had to back off.
Yeah.
And so...
was it driving you just absolutely apeshit?
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out, where did I go wrong? And so
it would.
So I discovered some concepts that I just failed to understand.
Well, you said at one point, I remember you saying this, that at some point, you realized you would have had, to go any further in math, you would have had to have, a faith.
Yeah.
Didn't you say that?
Well, I don't know about
You
it.
had faith in that.
You had to
which
have
is what
faith
it
in
is,
it. Yeah,
No, I don't think
Oh,
so.
God. Yeah.
He
You
said
said it a
the faith.
1,000 times.
Yeah, he said at some point in math, you
It's
have
like religion.
you have to have
Faith in the math.
faith in the math.
numbers.
Yeah, where it gets so abstract
Yeah.
that you can't.
Oh, all right. Okay,
really,
you're thinking of it in that way.
Yeah, that's what you
Not
said.
faith,
said
but
that,
not
yeah.
faith in a sense that people think in religion.
Right? Yeah. No.
I mean,
no.
you're because you're looking at the logic of it.
Right. Not in a religious way at all, but the
where you're in the religious sense, you're not really looking at logic.
right.
You're just believing it.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to figure out, mathematics and how it works.
So then you started making those things, right?
Yeah, that was actually my quest to
figure out
the
math.
art and math.
In math, yeah.
Because
cool.
I was obsessed with math. Like, I get to calculus too.
Yeah.
And now the difference between what calculus does, like just simple, geometry, Euclidean geometry is really simple.
Yeah.
Because it's
Did you ever
static.
get into sacred geometry?
Well, that's another story.
Okay.
Now look, Euclidean geometry is just static. It's just studying, triangles, lines,
Right.
parallel lines, and so on. But later on, with the help of the Pythagorean Theorem and different things, people started wanted to figure out how to do curves.
Mm-hmm.
So you were able to just figure out pi.
Fucking pi, man.
But a lot of people are confused by pi. But pi,
Hell yeah, I am.
But pi is. Well, do I still have that thing up there? The pi thing, is that still up there?
No.
Or did I take it down? Did I take it
There's
downstairs?
a thumb bob right there.
Yeah,
No. Here, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna maybe do this thing justice.
Right, but Luke has
this
to.
thing?
No.
Luke has to go, so
No,
we
I
gotta
didn't-
wrap it up. Luke has to go, so do this, and then we
Okay,
got.
no, I didn't bring the pi thing up, but although here's the Pythagorean theorem, though. How about that?
Let him get it off. Right?
How about that?
How
Let him get
about
it
the
off. Make sure
Pythagorean
it's in-
theorem?
it's even
See,
adjusted.
Yeah.
in its glory, it's just saying that here's my right triangle, okay, and
adjust the
and so
lighting.
all
Yeah,
these are the
okay.
same size. See all these triangles?
Yeah.
They're all the
All the
same.
same
They're all
size.
the same size.
Yeah.
And so what the Pythagorean theorem is stating is that the sum of this hypotenuse here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, is equal to the sum of these two here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
So it's saying c squared is
So
equal
what's
to
the-
a
okay.
squared plus b squared. I mean, it's literally saying that this is a square, that
Yeah.
c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared.
That's fucking kind of crazy, right?
But it's true.
It is true. Yeah.
And so my argument is the reason they discovered it, because in nature you have a right angle.
Right.
But
Pause. Hold on. What I just went to sleep. Yeah. All right.
and so with this thing here, you can figure out pi.
Huh. Okay.
Well, because with
Do
pi,
you know this stuff, Alex, or no?
A little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you know what he's talking about, or no?
I mean, I'm
Shit,
just saying
he's
that when I was
Alex.
taking
Yeah, he was.
when
when I was in
yeah.
math, all
Brought
this
him into
this
it.
idea
Uh-huh.
was
Yeah.
introduced, but I didn't understand it, because you can do things, but in the end you have to understand
Stand it. Yeah.
It can't be some theory or some faith thing. You have to understand that it's true that the sum of these squares of the right triangle is equal to the sum of these two here.
Yeah.
That c
I mean, that
squared,
makes sense.
right? That c squared, and it holds true.
Equals a squared b squared.
And it holds true for any right angle, like any right angled triangle. This is just what they call,
And then, so you could break that. You just start slicing the triangle in half.
you could make the triangle, like shorter
Yeah.
and shorter and shorter. And so you can use this theorem that c squared equals a squared.
Is that how you built that thing?
Well, that's
Using
another
the Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah?
Actually you do. Because
How did you start with that? Did you start with like the metal?
Yeah, get into the art of it. Like, we
Around
got the
the
map.
outside?
I don't want to bore people too much. We got into some of it. Like,
We're talking about that thing there.
Well, this here
Talk about the art of it, just like the art of it,
See,
like the
here
build,
is-
the DIY of it all.
see this here
He won't, but he'll go right into it.
Yeah.
It's alright.
Right into the math of it.
Get it off.
well, this thing here explains that.
Somebody will appreciate it.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
knows
for
this
Yeah.
movie.
Well, see, this thing here
If
expl-
one person it resonates, then whatever.
I mean, that looks like really
We're gonna
complicated.
send it to Brad. Yeah, that one's
Looks really complicated. But here's the explanation, okay? Okay, so everything here
I'll
just
do
fits
this.
logically. Everything fits logically in this dodecahedron,
Okay.
which is the 12 pentagons. This has 12 pentagons, and there's a relationship between here we have the pentagon, And this is the distance from here to here. There's a relationship between here and here to here. Like there was a guy, famous mathematician called Fibonacci, okay, and he invented the golden mean. And it's kind of hard to really describe the golden mean, but the ratio between the distance from here to here to here is actually 1.618.
All the time?
All the time.
Fuck.
So in other words, it's called the golden mean.
Mean.
You know, and this guy, he predicted like the growth of rabbits and how plants.
He predicted the growth of rabbits?
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
That's
and
fucking crazy.
and how plants grow actually in five.
So how'd you build it?
Oh,
How'd
so
you start?
is
How'd
that
you
the
build it?
sacred? Is that getting into sacred geometry?
Well, that's another story. That's another
Fuck, I
thing.
can't wait to get into that. We don't have time for that. I guess.
Well, you
Part
got
two.
to. I
We'll
mean,
do a part
yeah,
two.
we gotta-
well,
We'll
see,
come back.
this cube fits in here, and so in order to calculate, the sides of the square, I had to know the relationship between this side of the cube and this here. See, math is all about relationships,
I'll never forget that.
right?
Yeah, it's all
And
about
so you
how
can-
this is in relation to this, and this is how this. That's how we got to the thing about faith, because you said like you get to a point where like this relation makes sense to this relation makes sense to this, and you keep going, and then eventually you have to like, oh, what did you say? How did you put it? You got to put like you have to put faith into it because it just doesn't make relation anymore, or like you get so far. Oh man, I forget how you said it. It made total sense to me.
Yeah,
Where like it crossed into faith because there was like different
but it has
laws.
to have
There's
a
like
basis, though.
there's different laws. Isn't there like some things that they say this is in relation to this because this is in relation to this, and then this is in relation to this because this and this and this were.
Well, okay, there's a famous, formula in math called if A equals B and B equals C, then obviously, A equals C,
right,
right?
right.
It's just, and so, but
But can't you get so far down the line? Like, well, what if there was a mistake back there? That's how I always viewed it.
That's how I see conspiracy
Well, that does
theory.
happen.
That's how I see
That does
conspiracy theories. Actually, that's a good comparison right there. Like I always say with conspiracy theories, that even if you're off one little thing, your whole rabbit trail could go completely off.
Completely fucked.
You
Well,
know,
same way-
there's a one mistake or
one little
one
thing,
fake
and then it
news, like
takes you
one-
way down.
yeah.
That's what I think. I think they did that
Yeah,
on purpose.
they chased their own
I think they did
tail.
that on purpose with a certain conspiracy.
Yeah, right.
That fucking pizza game.
Well, let's just
All right,
like,
let's-
pizza
yeah.
like if you're
we gotta
doing a
go.
math formula.
Yeah, it's
if
about
you-
time.
All right, we're done. We gotta go.
We gotta go.
Yeah. It's already 3-4. It's almost 4.
Yeah,
So
we
we're
gotta
done.
go.
You had to be
Yeah.
there by 3:30.
Yeah, I think we'll be
Before-ish
all right.
to be safe.
Yeah, yeah.
But we'll do a part 2. I'm gonna say we'll do
There's
a
my
part
mom's
2.
birthday. We gotta, yeah.
That does, I mean, like that, but that's like in any kind of anything, like in a computer, if you forget to put that one letter, Google's not. Although Google has gotten pretty
That's
good
true.
at trying to figure out.
Oh yeah.
But some search systems are not as good as Google. And if you leave out, like I noticed, like in one case, I was looking for something, and I didn't put an S at the end,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's saying it wasn't there.
Oh,
And then when I added the S, it showed up.
Really?
Yeah, like that fickle.
That's called there's this place called the Pirate Bay
yeah, torrents and stuff.
torrents, and I was
Downloading
looking for
Oh,
I was looking for a certain movie, and I didn't put the S
S,
on at
yeah.
the end, and and so it didn't
That
find
throws
it.
everything off. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I thought it was odd. Though,
That's
that-
like, I mean, like, because I always think about the Bible, just real fucking quick. I always think of
We're
the
not
Bible, like
recording
the
anymore.
Bible.
We are.
Oh, we're still
Yeah, we
recording?
are. So, like, at some point, like, the Bible could have been corrupted. You know what I mean? At some point, it could have been corrupted and just thrown off point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Stories.
Just like that. Yeah, the translations is a fucking huge thing,
Yeah, the
dude. That's
translator.
huge.
Well, that's the argument: is what exactly
I think
was
Jesus'
mission?
I
was,
think Jesus, the whole story of Jesus is supposed to hit us like we are Jesus. Like we are human just as he was, and I think we are just as capable to live with compassion, empathy, and love like he did. I don't know about the whole miracle thing. I think that might be a part that throws
Well,
off.
you know, the proof...
But I think that he learned things in Egypt. I think the gifts that he received were the things that the Egyptians were into. And the shit that they were into in Egypt was like the pineal gland and learning how to live from your third eye. Or actually, they say it's your first eye. And it gets real, like, I don't know, I'm not scholarly on it all, but they talk about different oils that get poured on you in the Bible, and people are saying, like, that's the pineal gland, because your pineal gland actually secretes certain oils whenever it's used properly, and we have the ability to open it and close it.
Now, just to back off a little bit and come back to Earth, there is a case to be made that was Jesus' mission, was that, because in the parable of the sheep and the goats,
what was his mission?
I gave you the parable of the sheep and the goats.
You did, yeah.
But you somehow kept losing it and this and that.
I may have read it.
I find the parable of the sheep and goats crucial to understanding Jesus' mission. And that's exactly what he says. Because when the goat said, I'm just going to summarize it. When the goat said because Jesus says, well, you didn't visit me in prison. And then the goat says, well, when were you in prison, Jesus?
Yeah, this is it.
Then Jesus says, well, the least of ye is me.
The least of
In other words,
ye is me.
when you give somebody water to drink and you go visit somebody in prison or you help somebody, you're helping him.
Helping him. Yeah. You're
That's
helping
what he
humanity.
says.
Yeah, like I think that's the whole point of the story. I think the story's just distorted. Like I think
it's about karma.
It's about human. Like it's about the human experience on Earth and what he's like the blueprint of what we're capable of.
But isn't it like karma though? We're talking about karma. And
Well,
even the Bible says that you're going to reap what you sow.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever you sow, so shall you reap.
Right.
And so that's the law of karma, of cause and effect.
Right. Like if you put out love and good intentions and good positive shit, you're going to receive them.
Now, what changed, though, I think, in the whole biblical story was that Paul comes along and he says, your works is not as important as God's grace. So it's
he
really...
said that to Jesus? Or is he saying
Paul.
that to... yeah, but Paul said that to Jesus, or Paul saying that to us?
No, Paul never met Jesus.
Right. I just
So
got
no,
lost
in the
for a
new,
second.
so in his letters, and this is a big conflict.
How old was Jesus in the Bible?
I think they say 33 or
So,
something like that.
Yeah.
So say that's a big conflict, is how important his works.
Yeah, he was a stud.
Like just to do a quick quote in James, and James says, if you see your brother and sister and they're without clothes and food, and you say peace be with you and walk your merry way, what use is that? In other words, you provide them with.
Yeah.
And so he says, like my faith is my works.
Right.
Like I wouldn't just walk away from my brother and sister and not provide them clothing when they needed it, because that's my faith.
Yeah.
My faith is my work.
Right.
My faith is what I do.
Okay.
And so James, like Martin Luther didn't like James. He thought it was a book of straws, but James very much, he never quotes Jesus, but he kind of talks about this idea of works.
Yeah.
In other words, that you have to like earn God's grace
through your works.
Well,
That makes sense. Can we end there?
Yeah.
All right. Is that cool?
Right. And
That's a
okay,
good
we're
one.
ending there. Okay.
Well, I'll have to do like an official ending. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
You never just let it go. Or just all right. We're done. So we'll do.
No, we're done.
Well, I was gonna say one thing. Yeah, we're
Faith
done.
is in my work. To earn God's grace is through your works.
Listen, all
and
right.
good
so,
works,
and
right? Karmic.
Yeah, boom. I mean, we're just asking.
But that's very.
If you're watching this on YouTube, hit subscribe. We never.
Yeah, hit subscribe, dude. Fuck.
We got
Never
merch.
said that.
We got merch.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, we got merch coming. We're gonna do a part 2 of this. The church is alive again.
Yep.
With Big Ray. We're gonna come back, talk to Big Ray. So we'll keep that coming. So
Motherfucking resurrection of
Church
love.
Of why? What the fuck? But why? And we're out.
Now, of course, that's my opinion now.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of people don't believe that. That was my. We're done recording, right?
Done recording,
But the point of it is Paul introduces a much more appealing idea.
Okay.
It's not going to be your works that get